Changing behaviors can be one of the most challenging things, um, especially when it's a behavior that we have been repeating for many years, and especially when changing has been something challenging for us. I would say that some people, their personalities are just they adapt a little easier to change, and it's always different. Like, just for some people might be easy to change things around diet, and for some other people can be a little easier to change things around going to new places or changing jobs, things like that. So I just want to acknowledge anyone that is in the process of creating a new behavior, creating any kind of change. Um, yeah, it is a difficult thing, and I'm always super inspired. If you didn't know me, if it's your first time in my channel, I'm always very inspired to find ways how to explain people how to change in a way that not only it's new, but it's exciting and it's attractive and it's inspiring, because I feel like that's a big part of why we don't change. We don't know many people that have done it in a way that feels inspiring and it feels easy, or yeah, I don't think it has to be hard. I don't think it has to be boring. I think it can be super fun, and I'm super happy that you are in this video. If you are in that place searching answers, or trying to find ways how to create a change in your life, and you're going to find a lot of information about how to change habits and how to change beliefs and behaviors. That's, I feel like after we get to a point in life where we start realizing, oh, maybe the things that I'm doing are not working. Maybe I'm I think when we start deciding that we want to change, it's because things in our life are not working, like what we are getting is just not exactly the reflection of what we think about ourselves, of what we would like. So once we get in that space, we find books, and we find a lot of people here in YouTube, social media, Instagram. Everyone seems to have the next tool, the next technique, the next coaching program, and I'm a fan of making it easy, enjoyable. Yeah, as I said, it doesn't have to be boring, it doesn't have to be hard. And here is a breakthrough that I just had, because I am, as I shared also in my videos, I know now a lot of tools, and I have been practicing all these things for a while, but I'm still, it's a never ending process, and it gets better because we learn the tools, and it's the same thing as when we start learning a new sport, a new workout. Once you know how to use a racket, it's just like you can probably go to a next level. You can play with more people, you can play with both hands. So it's the same thing in the self-development space. So I'm changing. I just realized that I'm changing a behavior. And I was like, oh my god, this is what's happening. I've been having this sensation, so I get curious, I explore, I journal, and this is the thing that I want to share before I share what I'm experiencing, the behavior that I'm realizing that I'm trying to change. And especially if you're kind of new, maybe it doesn't matter if you're new. Maybe if self-development has been a little tricky, has been a little hard, this is something that I really wish I knew. I think my intuition, my consciousness knew it. I just didn't have anyone telling me this is true. This is the way, at least for me. And it is so freaking important that we have fun. We already know that self-development, working in ourselves, it is difficult, it's challenging, it brings up a lot of emotions, trauma, pain. Like, it's not pretty, right? It brings a lot. I didn't realize that. You might not be seeing in my face. So it's already hard, and if we don't balance that out, I think it just stays hard. And what I want to share is that when we start balancing out, when we start having at least the same amount of fun, then the same amount of, investment in digging and healing, this, what is doing, we are not only in the present having fun and connecting with life and enjoying, but it's also creating the foundation for the new things that are gonna happen after you deal with these things, if that makes sense, with the trauma and the behaviors. You're digging and healing and realizing of, oh God, I have all these things that I don't like, and these things come from this place, from this story, from this trauma, and I'm like, that's uncomfortable, and it has to be like that. It's part of the process, right? But if we have this foundation of connecting with life, of the thing when we're having fun is that we're not only connecting with ourselves and with life, we are remembering our value, our passions, the things that brings out the best of us, the spark we all have, that uniqueness that we all have. And that only happens in those spaces of enjoyment and gratitude and spending. And I know it can be like, wait, if I'm just going through all this trauma and all this stuff, how am I going to have fun? I know it can be super challenging, but even if you find, small versions of doing that, and the first thing that comes to my mind is just remember all the things that used to bring a lot of joy in you when you were little. So play. I talk a lot about being on flow state, and that's pretty much the base of being on a flow state. Play. Even if it feels weird, depending on where you are. For some people, it might feel awkward. Like, I don't want to look silly. I don't want to look ridiculous. That's your ego telling you that you look silly and ridiculous. So just remember, when you were little, you did not care about ego. You did not care about looking ridiculous. You were just enjoying life. Jumping from one tree to another. I don't know who you used to be when you were little, but bring a version of that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly how you used to do it when you were little, but bring a version of that to your current life. It's funny, because I'm realizing that I always talk about this in my videos from different perspectives, from different angles. I always say, like, one of the things that keeps that inner child alive in me, that little version of myself alive inside of me, is riding bicycles, exercising, but exercising from that perspective of having fun, of being a childish, like just getting to that energy of discovering life, of exploring, or of being curious. Maybe you can spend a little time journaling. Spend one page. The benefit you're gonna get from this, it's absolutely beautiful. So you're digging into the trauma and all these things. If you can just spend one page of your journal, just to list all the things that you used to love when you were little, and commit to bring some of those back into your life. It can be painting, it can be dancing, it can be. My mom was just reminding me of how much I used to love dressing up. I used to be so creative. I used to, with costumes, I used to make crazy insane things, and I'm like, why I got so boring, and why now I only want to buy my costumes, and then it has to be sexy and like it has to look perfect and all these things. No, I want to be as silly and ridiculous as I used to be when I was little. Playing cards. I actually did a list without thinking about this video the other day of all the things that I want to bring back. I went to a Waldorf school in Colombia, and if you know anything about this education system style, you probably know that it's a lot of exploring through art and nature. You don't have to know anything about Waldorf. I think any child, if you look at kids, they all enjoy being in nature, playing with sand, playing with leaves, and I hope you find a couple of memories. I know for some people sometimes it can be tricky to have memories from their childhood, but I wish you the best in that process, and I'm positive that you will find some of those memories, so you can start working on finding what's the form of that enjoyment, playfulness that you can bring back into your life. So that's pretty much it. Well, no, I was going to share a little bit of what I am experiencing at the moment, and why this that I'm inviting you to do this exercise of bringing playfulness into your life will help you so much, will create the foundation for all this digging and all this healing and all these things that you are doing with your self-development process. So what's happening right now is that very vulnerably I will share what's going on with me. I think there are moments in my life. The last one I would say was the pandemic, where I was very stressed out. There were a few moments in my life where I was going through a lot of stress. And what happens when we are in a lot of stress, not like little bit of stress, when we are experiencing a lot of stress, is that we are in our minds a lot. We are trying to analyze, we're trying to survive. Our nervous system is regulated, and when we are in that flight or flight state, yeah, our brains are just doing what they know how to do, and it's just help us to survive. And I want to say that, yeah, I think I spent a lot of time. I've been wanting to record a video, and if you are curious, if you're interested in me sharing that experience, I'll be more than happy to do so. I just keep forgetting, but I had insomnia. And it was super scary. I didn't know what was happening with me. I didn't know many people around me that had insomnia and recovered from it. I think the few people I knew, they only had bad things to do. They were on medicine, and I went to a Waldorf school. if you really get a sense of who I am, like my family is all about natural stuff. My dad is a Zen monk. My mom is a nutritionist. So I was very far away from thinking about taking, any kind of crazy medicine that was going to, get me dependent on it. So yeah, it was a very crazy experience. And what I can say is that well, of course, happy always to share all the resources and all the things that I did. That's when I got into learning Joe Dispenza's work and understanding how our brains work and how stress work. But what I do believe is that I created these patterns of thinking, analyzing. So I am experiencing life from a super wonderful place right now. I recovered from insomnia and all these things. But I do feel like when there's stress, when there are other stresses, when there are stresses in my life, things that activate me, it's just easy for me to get back into those patterns of thinking. But the one thing I'm realizing right now is because I've been wanting, it's been a journey. It hasn't been like 2 weeks, it's been a while. I think the last time I had insomnia was, what year is the beginning of 2024, last year. Well, it's a year. But yeah, I've been sleeping beautifully since then. So because it's something that I've been wanting to overcome, I don't want to feel that way. Of course, I pay attention to the things that activate that way of thinking, of like that way of feeling. When I notice that when I recognize that I am feeling like that, I'm just like, okay, what happened here? What did activate this? So I can see right now that yes, I've been paying attention to that behavior or that way of thinking, but I've been also enjoying life so much. So I am in a moment now that whenever I notice that I'm getting into those patterns, into those ways of thinking, I can see, and this is what I am so excited to share with everyone today. And car is distracting me. I'm sorry. So what I can see now is like, okay, I can recognize that this is something that doesn't make me feel good and that I don't like, but I can also, which I feel like this used to not happen for me in my self-discovery journey, I can also see immediately how I do want to feel. I think for a lot of time when I started my self-discovery or self-development journey, I knew how I didn't want to feel, but I didn't know how I wanted to feel. And that's huge. And I think we know how we want to feel when we do practice these things that bring out the best of us. When we are in that playfulness, enjoyment, gratitude, energy. If we don't have that, you're like kind of stuck. I don't want this, I don't want that, but what do you want? How do you want to feel? It takes so much work to know that. And this is the work that it takes. And that's what I want to remind you, what I want to invite you. Don't wait. You just start being as committed as doing your work, because we can be a little harsh on ourselves when we are doing the work. We don't even realize that we're being hard on ourselves. You know, it's like we are, as humans collectively, we are learning these things. You know, it's like there's not maybe there now, but like in academy, how to heal yourself. Like you just like starting to do these things. You know, and in the process of working on ourselves, healing ourselves, it has to be a big portion of self-love. And some people say it, some people insist in it, but it is huge. And I just gave you the example why. We want to know how we want to feel. To replace something that is not working for us, we have to be doing things that are reminding us, oh, these are the feelings. This is how I want to feel. So this morning I woke up to do my morning routine, and that changes. I'll share maybe other videos talking more about my morning routines. And I was like, okay, here we go. My mind is like, it's going really fast, and I know I don't like to feel like this. And I have those moments where I'm, meditating, being present, and I can see what I don't like. And these other voices of, let's go here, let's go have fun, let's go feel this way. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and I want everyone to be able to know that. And that's the way. I want to say like 50-50, but I would do more of this. Have more fun and do a little bit of the work. Always invest. This is the investment. This is the real freaking investment. Play, do art, travel, go to places, spend time in nature, spend time with animals, spend quality time with people, building that deep connection with people. Find your version of this, but that's from my heart to yours today. That's the message I wanted to share. I wish you the best. Of course, if maybe I forgot sometimes, I feel like I forget to connect all the many stories that I tell in my videos. But yeah, just let me know if there's anything else I can share. For now, enjoy, have fun. Bring that child inside of you back to your current life, to your everyday. And I hope to see you in my next video. Big love.